Hey guys, and welcome. It is Friday night, and you know what that means. It is Friday night with beef, and we've got a steak-tastic night planned for you tonight. We have a lot of cool information, too. We're going to teach you a little bit about what I look for in steaks, maybe how to select the best steak. You can see we've got a few different cuts, right? They're all the same. It's a New York strip, but we've got them from different parts of the loin. We're going to roast some veggies tonight because veggies go so fantastic with steak. We're going to do a little balsamic as well. And then we've got details for you tonight, right? I came with like a half a PowerPoint presentation. So I want to show you something really cool. I'm guilty, right, of buying lots of meat. We buy a lot of beef, so I want to make sure we always have good cuts of beef. But we're going to talk a little bit about the steak swap tonight, and we're also going to talk a little bit about degrees of doneness, because I think there's a lot we can learn from different degrees of doneness. Hey, and like we always say, don't forget to leave us your comments, questions, say hi, give us a shout out. Make sure to thank your farmers and ranchers, right, for taking such good care of us and always providing such wonderful Colorado beef on our plates. We are getting ready to kick off Memorial Day weekend, right? And let's not forget what Memorial Day weekend is about. Yes, we love to grill. We do a lot of grilling, but let's take a minute this weekend and really reflect on those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice to really give us the opportunity to do everything it is we do today. So take a few minutes this weekend and remember what it's all about, and take a minute to thank those folks for paying the ultimate sacrifice for us. So don't forget, leave your questions, leave your comments, tell us you're here, let us know that you're watching, and then as always, a big huge thank you to the Colorado Beef Council, all of our farmers and ranchers for supporting us and letting us go live every week and have a little bit of fun with you. So let's dig in here. Annie is on the camera game tonight, as always. She brought her jokes this week, so you guys can be sure that, I don't know, for some reason, like I get tormented every week. I can't figure out why. But, all right, you guys, look at this. I think this is super important, right? Like I said, I'm guilty. I love steaks. We love to buy a lot of steaks. But I have learned, I do not always have, I'm just going to hold it for you because it's going to get windy anyways. Oh, sorry. See, that's why you're here, because I would have left it in the shade. All right, so I'll tell you what. There's times that I get in the grocery store and I may have a ribeye budget, a ribeye desire, but not the budget. So now you can look at this cool chart and it'll say, hey, if I'm in the mood for tenderloin steak and maybe I want to go a little bit leaner, right, instead of a filet, or what can I eat that'll give me kind of the same experience? I can go with a strip steak, which is lean. Let's say I'm in the mood for a ribeye, but they don't have ribeyes. Maybe they ran out for the day. Chuck eye steaks are fantastic. T-bone or a porterhouse. If you're looking for that T-bone or porterhouse experience, a strip steak's going to deliver most of that, right? You're going to miss a little bit of that tenderloin, but you really won't miss it a lot. Look at this here, strip steak. A ribeye would sub in there perfect. Top sirloin steaks are beautiful, and those guys come out great whether you're cast iron cooking them, marinating them, just so much goodness. Here's a top sirloin steak as well. Look at this, you guys. One of my favorite cuts of meat, the flat iron steak. This is absolutely fantastic. Such good marbling, so hearty, beefy. Honestly, I feel like it eats like a tenderloin with its tenderness, but has like a ribeye flavor to it from its marbling. So it's super fantastic. Then, this is the confusion of the world, right? When we get into degrees of doneness and we talk about rare, medium well, what that means. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. I know there's times you see people on TV and they're pushing down on the steak and they're like, oh, that's almost done or that's close to done. We're going to walk you through a little bit of that today to give you an idea of kind of steak doneness and what we look for. First off, let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about steaks. So I went to the grocery store. I bought these guys in the package, right? So I didn't go up to the meat case.
It is hot out here.
It is hot, right? And be careful because that phone's going to overheat. Hopefully not. I didn't go up to the butcher and ask for specific center cut New Yorks, right? I wanted to kind of show you, if you look at the strip loin, right? If you look at a strip loin being this long, you're going to get steaks from that entire strip loin, right? We know that the center is the jewel, right? We get the best steaks out of there, the best marbling, the best everything. But when you're in the grocery store, you know, they have to maximize yield. They don't want to be wasteful, and they're really going to cut end to end on that strips, on that loin. Look at this, though. Here's 4 different steaks. I'm having some people over to my house, right? We're having 4 of us. obviously, look at that beautiful choice marbling. Just so abundant. It's just beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful. That adds flavor, right? Fat adds flavor and it adds moisture. But then, look at this steak here. You can tell this is towards the other end. This is coming probably closer to that ribeye end. Now, here's the interesting part. You may look at that steak and think, ew, I don't know. I'm not sure that is juicy or what I want. When I get into the medium well and well done ranges, that's when I look for maybe not that pristine center cut, but I look for a cut towards one end or the other because it's still going to deliver a fantastic beef flavor and a really good beef experience. And that's a great way to utilize that up. I always joke like it's my mother-in-law's steak maybe because, if you like well done, you don't like steak maybe that much, right? And that's just my chef joke. But honestly, I look for marbling. When I'm buying a package of 3 or I'm buying that family pack of 4, I'm looking through the case and I'm the guy that roots through that entire case to see which steaks are absolutely the best. So this is what we picked tonight. A little bit of that tail. We call that the tail. That is fantastic. And just a beautiful, beautiful steak. These guys are going to do just amazing, right? We take those off there and just look at that. Nice ruby red. That's the color I'm looking for. And just an overall great steak. Question.
Which one of these do you like the best?
Ooh, who asked that?
Me.
That's a great question. I don't know,
Full
dear.
of them.
Which one do you think I like the best?
The fattiest one.
It is.
That one.
I like the one with the most marbling. And honestly, when I look in that pack, I always pick my steak out first. And as long as I'm satisfied with the steak I like, we're having a good dinner.
That's true.
I picked these two guys when I was looking through the case. I'm like, these are perfect. They are right where I want them. I love this little bit of the tail. I think that's fantastic, having that little bit of fat cap on there. So let's get rocking and rolling. First thing we're going to do is we're going to season some steaks, right? Everybody always asks, how long do they rest? How long do I take them out of the package? How long do I let them sit on the counter? My rule of thought, I'm looking at about maybe 10 minutes to 15 minutes of resting. And what that means is this, like a fine wine. I'm going to open that wine bottle. I'm going to let that wine breathe. Same with the steaks. I'm going to take them out of the package. I'm going to let those steaks do a little bit of breathing, just so they have a chance to build up some of that flavor, and man, just give them a chance to soften a little bit and relax and get prepared for this amazing grill. Question.
Should you dry them or pat them dry with anything?
No, not at all. I definitely don't do that. I just leave them as is, right? I don't need to. You can tell there's nothing extra in here. We didn't buy with a lot of juices in them. They came to us pretty nice and fantastic. Questions? Nothing? Anybody we need to say hi to, Ann?
We need to say hi to Kate Schultz.
Hi, Kate. How are you?
Of course, Tammy is watching.
Tammy, hello.
We have 20 people watching, but I don't see them.
They're not commenting?
Their names yet.
This is crazy.
So let's hear comments and questions.
Avocado oil, just a little bit of avocado oil. I like just a very thin layer of oil on my steaks. Not a lot. I'm just going to put a thin little layer.
And what for?
It helps the rub adhere, but more importantly for me, I think it helps form a little bit better crust. I like the crust it gets on the steaks. So what I'm going to do is give these guys a little rub here with that oil. Then I'm going to flip them, get them all on both sides, right? So we get a little oil on both sides. And this is just an avocado oil. I like it. It's got a little bit better smoke point to it. Does a great job. Now, you can season with salt, pepper. You can use some garlic salt. You can use a garlic pepper rub. I'm going to use a little steak rub that I enjoy here.
All right. While you're doing that, we're going to say welcome to Angela and Chelsea. Thanks for joining.
Nice to see you, ladies. Thank you so much. All right. Now, we pulled these out. We let them rest for about 10 or 15 minutes. Then we season them, right? Then I'm going to give these guys a flip, and we're going to let that rub soak in for 10 or 15 minutes, right? So once I season them, that is perfect time to go out and get your grill fired up and get that preheated. Tonight, we're cooking these guys hot and fast. That is the key to our steak perfection tonight, because really the beauty of cooking these guys hot and fast, I always say, like, go hot and stay hot. I think that's a good motto to have, because I want to sear them off and lock in those juices and then retain as much as you can. You are naturally going to lose a little bit of the moisture in these steaks, right? So getting a steak that's a little bit fattier, whether it's a prime, actually does you a really good service because it helps keep it moist. I would say you probably lose about 10% of that moisture or more as you're grilling a steak. So when they say you're going to sear and lock in all the juices, I always say you're going to sear and lock in the majority of the juices. So we're going to let this guy sit for just a minute with that rub on it. We've got the grill fired up. We are now at about 650, but check this out.
I can feel it from here.
We're going to sear these guys off on both sides and really get that started. But the beauty of it is, I know, right? The beauty of this is, look at this warming rack on the back. So now instead of being directly over the heat source, I'm going to get a little bit indirect on the top. So I'm going to be able to finish them nice and hot. So we say go hot when we start the sear and stay hot when we get up top there. That'll help us really, really make juicy, beautiful, fantastic steaks. Anybody new joining us we need to say hello to?
Not yet.
All right. I like it. It's quiet tonight. Where are all the comments and questions, Ann?
Well, you know, everybody's on vacation. I mean,
What?
not on vacation for Memorial Day.
Quarantation. All right. Let's get our veggies prepped for the night. So, some beautiful zucchini and some yellow squash. And you ready for this? This is the really hard part of the prep. And those are ready. And that one's ready. So we're just doing some big plank grilled vegetables tonight. We've got a fun little balsamic glaze we're going to start here in just a minute as well. And then we're going to toss our onions and a little bit of balsamic and serve. What I'm actually going to do, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we're going to serve a couple of the veggies on the bottom. I'm going to put the steak on the top, and then we'll grill those onions, hit them with some of this balsamic reduction, toss them with a little bit of fresh thyme, and season them up with a little bit of salt and pepper.
Hi, Colin.
And then we're good.
Thanks for joining.
Hi, Colin. Colin has maybe had his weekly trip to Colorado. He likes to go to Colorado a lot. So every time I pass through Colorado on my way to Kansas. That's right. Good job. I like to.
Is there a trick to cutting onions?
No, not at all. I just trim the stems off, and then look at that. That's what makes you cry in an onion. See all that juice? So we're outside, so I won't be crying a whole lot tonight.
I'll be crying because it's hot.
Later, I'll cry later when no one's watching. All right, watch this. Here's onion prep. So we're gonna put these on a kebab on a skewer. So I'm gonna cut them into thirds. See how I did that? I basically just took that onion. I made a wedge there. Done. All right. I don't have a garbage can tonight, do I? All right. So let's leave those sit for a minute. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to use a metal skewer. I like these metal skewers. They work out fantastic.
What other kind of veggies work well for kebabs and don't fall apart?
Anything hard, I think. Anything durable. Onions work great. Zucchini, yellow squash work good. Cauliflower is fantastic on there. Broccoli is also good. We're just mushrooms. Yeah, you got to be careful. I'm more of a roast the mushrooms separately kind of guy because mushrooms, the minute they get a little bit soft from the moisture purging out of them, they tend to fall off here. So let's see what we got. Look at that. All right.
Pretty.
So that's beautiful. And I'm leaving a gap in between them because I want some of that heat to get around those guys and get them absolutely ready to go. All right. These we are going to put in the pan. I know. I'm sorry. All right. Put these guys in the pan. And hit them with just a tiny bit of oil here. All right. We're just going to brush these guys a little bit. It's quiet.
Do you always use purple onions or can you use another color?
You know what? For grilling, I love a sweet white onion or I love red onion. I think red onions grilled are just fantastic. Just brings out the sweetness. I think makes them taste really good.
So
all right, just salt. A little bit of salt here and then black pepper. I'm going to open this guy up just a little bit. Yeah, I like the red onions a lot. They do a really nice job. And this is talk about a great dinner, like perfect summer dinner. You can sit outside, you get your veggies, you get your meat. If you want to throw some potato planks on there, you can throw potato planks on here, but just a fun, easy, dish, and everybody loves it too. I think that's a great part.
So you just brush the oil on the inside of the...
Yep, I'm just brushing my inside. You're going to see why, because what I'm going to do here is put these guys this side down. And like I said, we are grilling hot today, so we're going to get some beautiful, beautiful color on these guys. But I'm just going to brush that one side and season the one side. God, as I get older, I realize, how much less seasoning I'm using, how much I prefer a seasoning that has less salt in it. Food, you should be able to taste food. I think when you season things, you want to be able to taste what you're doing, and you want to use that seasoning, I think, as an accompaniment, not necessarily.
So if someone likes a little more seasoning, what do you recommend?
Season. You know what I always say? Season as much or as little as you like. That's the best tip I can give you. You know your threshold for seasoning. I always say do.
So always dry or minced garlic or what?
We use toasted granulated garlic. That works out great in all of our rubs. And we toast it so it takes the harshness out. All right, so let's do this. Let's throw these guys on first. We're just going to get a couple minutes of grill on these before.
Direct on the...
Yeah, we're just flipping them direct on the grill like that.
It's hot.
That grill is so hot. All right. Questions, comments, hostilities, anything?
No.
Nothing? Love it. Well, no, I don't love it, but all right. And again, like I said, we are going hot tonight. So hot. All right, we'll leave that guy doing its thing. Let's check out our steaks really quick. All right. Look at those beauties. This is what we're looking for. See how that rub, I got a little bit heavy on that guy.
Get out of the sun.
See how that rub got nice and wet? You can see it's dark, it's nice and tacky. That is exactly what we're looking for. So we're gonna go onto the grate. This is a beautiful little cast iron grate. So hot. And I love it too because look at the little cross hatches on there. So it gets my diamonds, so to speak, already set and ready to go.
Fancy.
So we can let it do its thing. Come back over. Let's talk balsamic reduction. We have just some dark balsamic.
How much?
We're going to use 1/4 cup, so about 2 ounces, because we want to reduce this by half. We want to make it a little bit thick, a little bit sweet, a little bit syrupy. So now we're going to throw this on the grill.
Oh, that's cool. So any metal pan?
This is a basting pot, what we call a barbecue basting pot. So we're just going to throw that on there and
Definitely
go.
not plastic.
Definitely not plastic. All right. They say looking ain't cooking, so we're going to shut that and let these guys start to do a little bit. Now, when it comes to doneness, temperature control, and really looking in, where did I put my towels? Here we go. When it comes to checking temperature doneness, I'm guilty of it. We do this. When chefs cook, hundreds and thousands of steaks in a month or in a year or in a week, depending on what you're doing as a chef, you are very in tune with the doneness of meat. And what we're looking for is that resistance. Obviously, when you do this and that steak, you can push into it. It's a little more moist and a little, squishy, I guess, right? And you can feel that. You know it's a little bit less done. When you all of a sudden are doing this and you feel that steak is a little more firm, you know it's a little more done.
Sometimes a question coming in is that they use a maple whiskey to marinade. Are there any other liquors that should be considered?
Did they hear me talk about maple whiskey earlier today?
And that's Colin who's asking this question. Or should it be avoided?
I am not a huge marinade guy, right? I really like to let the flavor of beef shine. I'm just a simple guy that likes a nice rub on there, wants to get a little bit of flavor, and really not have enough. But again, cooking is about what you want, about the audience you're cooking for. So if you like that flavor, go for it. I've seen some beef that they've actually wrapped in cheesecloth and poured bourbon on and dry aged it that way. And I think when you do in that method, it probably comes out pretty absolutely amazing, right? Okay, so look at this. Come on over. Let me show you here. I'm going by so many minutes aside. Can you get down here and see this?
But I don't want your
See that doneness? You can see like that doneness starting to come up. I'm now judging my steaks kind of how many minutes aside. So am I going to go 6 minutes aside or 4 minutes aside? And then look at the veggies. Get a nice little bit of grill on there. Same with the onions as well. And we'll let these guys go again. Like they say, looking ain't cooking. We'll get that shut. Okay, so doneness. So you're going to feel for that resistance, right? You're going to feel if it's firm, if it's soft. But then also, instant read digital thermometer is absolutely...
Let's get a close-up on that.
Yeah. It's one of my ThermoWorks. Instant read digital thermometer is fantastic. What I like about this, let's say this is your steak. Now I'm able to go in the side of that steak, and really with the thin point, I'm able to get in there and absolutely nail that temperature. when we worked in the country club world, we wanted every steak we cooked to come out perfect. So we really focused on temperature cooking to make sure that when it got to your table after it rested, it was exactly the temperature you wanted. So I always like to focus that way too, because I want to make sure that if you're coming over to eat steak at my house, we nail it, right? We want to do a good job. So, all right, you ready? We're going to flip this guy. Look at that.
Ooh.
Who is hungry now? Ann, you're hungry?
Oh, me.
Hey,
I'm
come
hungry.
on.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
All right. So again, this is going to be that well done steak here, right?
Is that balsamic boiling?
Balsamic, yeah, you can see it. Can you see it or no?
Yeah, kind of. Oh, yeah.
Came to a boil. We're going to let that guy go. We'll give our steaks a flip. And the beauty of it is, you guys, when you cook in the hot and fast environment, it's hot and fast. You are cooking at a much higher temperature. Someone told me once at a cooking class we did in Chicago, they after class, I'm like, all right, what was your aha moment? And someone said, you cook hotter than I have ever cooked in my life. I mean, this grill was
Flip
at...
the onions or no?
Isn't that beautiful?
It
Like,
is.
that's a good accompaniment. No, I already flipped them. See?
Oh.
Little color on this side. Somebody said, you cook so much hotter than I ever would have imagined. We preheated this gas grill today. We were at, what, almost 700, bud?
Almost, yeah.
Almost
when
700
we first
degrees. So,
started.
all right. So, we got the balsamic glaze working. We have the steaks cooking. Let's go ahead quickly here. And the cool part about this, Annie and I were talking a little bit earlier about, you know, the length of a Facebook Live. Like, how long do you want to tune in? And the cool thing about this is we love doing these fast because it shows you, I think, a true representation of what we're doing. We don't want to take an hour to cook these steaks. We want to show you really how you would do it if you were in your backyard. So by the time these guys are done, we're looking at a very, very short cook time. All right. Recipe calls for oregano or thyme, but this, smell that. Yeah, oregano is just, it looks so beautiful, or the thyme looks so beautiful today. So I went with thyme.
Can I eat it raw?
Yeah.
Taste it raw?
I'm not sure that you might want to. You can.
Oh, it
but
smells good.
It does, right? It smells so like earthy and woodsy. And what we're doing is just picking some of that off because we're going to add these guys to the onions when we toss those with a little bit of balsamic and do a nice little balsamic
Yeah,
onion.
those
So
are not good raw.
no, they need a little bit of, they need a little heat to kind of open them up. There's a beautiful little oil in there.
So what
that,
are you doing? Just pulling off the...
Yeah, I'm just pulling off.
the
I'm just
stem?
picking.
So do you ever use the stem?
I don't, no. So I just basically, what I like to do is push them that way, and then I can just go through and pick them all off.
Oh.
See what we did? All right. This gives us a cleaner break, a cleaner taste, all that good stuff. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking you need a glass or a sip of water.
I do need a sip of water. Any questions? Nothing?
No.
Babe,
Got a quiet
Not
group
sure.
tonight.
It is quiet tonight.
They're mesmerized by the smell of steak.
Yeah. And if Bob, our neighbor's watching, and Tammy, hi, how are you? The steak smell is drifting into their backyard. So, all right, we're still at 500. All right, look at, here's the chef part. Let me put a glove on. You'll appreciate that more. Actually, we're eating these, so, right? All right, look at, so here's what we're doing. I'm starting to feel that doneness. Okay, look, see how there's a little bit of softness there, and that gets a little bit firm, and this guy's a little bit more soft. We're gonna start taking their temps. Turn our thermometer on. We're going in the middle. I mean, we haven't been on that long, and we're already at rare, which is fantastic. And we're gonna go into this guy, 17, and that's at 116.
Getting hot.
And that's at 117. So this is what I use to start checking temps. It's super, it's just so easy, right? And then I'm always guaranteed to get a fantastic temperature out of them and make sure that they're done.
Is
so
there any way to, I was just going to ask if you can leave the vegetables on while the steak cooks so you can keep them warm but not cook them any further?
well, these steaks are close to done, right? These guys are getting up to medium rare, which is what I'm looking for. I want to pull my steak temperature, you guys. Let's get these guys a little more crispy. Look at those. How do those look?
Good.
Did I do it right? Mm-hmm. Okay. You guys, I want to pull steaks about a temperature under, a half a temperature under, right? So I'm going to pull these two guys in the back.
So
We're
when
gonna
you
take
say
our-
a temperature, do you mean 97 versus 98? or-
No. If I'm doing a medium,
I see.
medium rare steak, I want to pull it maybe rare plus. So let's pull these guys off, right? We're going to let these rest. Resting is just a fun way.
So are you going to pull off that front guy who is still...
Nah, that guy's moo. He's going to stay for a little bit. resting is a great way for these guys to just soften and relax, right? As they cook, we're pushing all the juices in the middle. So when it softens, we allow them to just rest and redistribute and relax just a little bit. And that is the perfect way to get it done. Now, look at this. Let's say I want to finish these guys up top and let them go.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, because now the grill is still ambient-wise 500 degrees, but I'm not right over the heat. If that makes sense, right? Look at that. How's that for beautiful?
Ooh.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
All
so
right.
you're leaving the grill cover open?
I'm going to leave it open. I just want to get a little bit of color on these guys, and then we are good. Oh, hey, you know what? You focus on the steaks. I'm going to grab the bowl I forgot earlier.
Okay. It's like watching steaks cook or paint dry.
It's like what? Watching paint dry?
Yeah, or steaks cook.
That's okay.
It's
Switch.
a little
Now we have
culinary
to dance.
humor.
That's not culinary humor, dear. All right. So look at this. Carefully. Give it a tap.
Is this just an empty bowl?
Yep.
Oh.
Push down on those onions. Right. That's what we got. Now we're going to let these steaks in the back go because someone wanted them a little bit more well done, so we want to oblige. All right, look at that. Fresh thyme. A little bit there. A little salt and pepper. It is quiet tonight,
It is
babe.
quiet tonight.
I don't understand
We've
it.
got 14 quiet people.
Well, hopefully everybody's relaxing, having a great weekend. All right. So we season these guys. We're going to mix them up a little bit.
Ooh, look at the steak. The juice is starting to come out the top.
Okay, check this.
See
Check
that?
this out. I'm just checking it real quick to make sure it's not too hot. Okay, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Onion time. So we're going to hit a little balsamic in there. Toss these guys up and let them sit for just a second. Now, we're going to cut into one of these steaks here real quick, just to show you some doneness. To me, medium.
Ooh.
Perfect. So like I said, I wanted a medium steak. Now I pulled this at medium rare-ish to let it rest so that it finished its cooking to where we wanted it.
So how long does it take to finish that cooking?
3 to 5 minutes is kind of that carryover. Now, look at this. If I was doing this plated for dinner, right, I do a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and then
Hi, Kasha.
some of these gorgeous onions right on top.
Looks good.
And then if you're fancy and you like balsamic, I toss a little bit more on there as well. That's it. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that. How long have we been doing this? I mean, what are we at? 20 minutes?
Something like
maybe.
that.
So really quick and simple. Like I said, the beauty of doing this, the way we do it is, we showed you that entire process, really from the prep to the plate, so to speak. That is a fantastic steak. And again, we showed you that doneness. We can do this to feel how soft or firm the meat is, but then that digital.
So what do you think the temperature is now on that guy?
Oh, my guess is we are, I'm not going to let you see, but my guess is we're probably 130-ish. What did I say, 130?
Yep.
128?
Nice job.
So you just let it rest. And again, like I said, I pulled that at a little bit medium rare-ish and a half, and then let it finish its way so that it came out perfect. And really, that's how you deliver a juicy steak. If I remember when my grandpa cooked, he would always say, look at the juice on the plate. Look at the juice on the plate. And it never dawned on me until I became a little more gifted in the culinary skills that he was cutting the steaks right when they came off the grill and it was releasing all that juice. Now we let it redistribute so you can see we don't have a lot of juice on this cutting board. Nothing is running off and onto my tablecloth that we have to wash, right? All right, that is it. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Thank you guys so much. It's been a fun Friday. Make sure you tune in next week. Next week is, I tell you what, meatballs. We're going to go crazy with meatballs. We're going to be in the kitchen. We're going to show you a couple ways with meatballs. We're going to do a spaghetti and meatballs for dinner for the night. But we're going to kick it up a notch because we're going to, don't tell your kids, we are going to learn how to incorporate some vegetables into the meatballs to kind of like sneak it in on the kids a little bit. But the meatballs that we're making are absolutely amazing. We'll have fun doing that. We'll show you a fun way to do it, but we'll also talk about how to store the meatballs, how to freeze them, how to reheat them, and all that good stuff. So once again, I'm Chef Jason Morse, working with the Colorado Beef Council. Thank you so much to all of our ranchers and producers who are doing an amazing job keeping that Colorado beef in the grocery stores, on your plates, in your freezers, and everywhere they can. I had a great conversation with some ranchers this week talking about just how they're all working together, to get this done. This is a partnership. This is a family. This is community, and this is agriculture. So really everybody working together as a team to make sure that the consumer is getting what they want. So it's awesome to know that, you may have ran out of beef, but you're still involved in the process, helping everybody else get beef to your table. So thank you guys so much for doing that. Hey, and then last but not least, take a couple minutes this weekend and think about those have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom and for us to enjoy doing what we do every day in our backyards and in our jobs and in our lives. So have a great Memorial Day weekend, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I will see you next week. It's going to be Meatball Madness.